The first time they called me Cinderella, the entire office laughed. "Let's give it to Cinderella," Fortune said, dropping a heavy pile of files on my desk. Fortune was a beautiful woman of 30 who believed her beauty and body were gifts from God, tools she could use to advance herself in life. Everybody chuckled. I smiled weakly and collected the files. That was my life at Greater Heights Corporations. Not because I was poor. Not because I was an orphan. And certainly not because I was waiting for a prince. No. I was Cinderella because I was the one made to do the jobs nobody wanted. The exhausting work. The stressful work. The hectic work that kept me in the office long after everyone else had gone home. And unlike everybody else in that company, I refused to compromise. My name is Madison Bello. And this is my godly love story. When I first joined Greater Heights 6 years ago, things were different. The former CEO, Mr. Logan Ogu, was a God-fearing man who believed in integrity and fairness. Hard work was rewarded then. Promotions were earned. Back then, I believed I would grow there. Then Queen Adamu became the CEO. Queen was Mr. Logan's nephew. And because Mr. Logan Ogu's children were already well established, he would Greater Heights Corporation to Queen after his death. But Queen was nothing like his godly uncle. Within the space of 1 year, Queen turned Greater Heights Corporation into lower grounds. Everything died. The office was transformed into something between a nightclub and a battlefield. Married people had affairs openly. Promotions were exchanged for favors. Gossip became currency. If you wanted to rise, you had to join them. I couldn't. Not because I was stronger than they were, but because God warned me. If you join them, you will die. That sentence stayed in my spirit for 6 years. 6 years of mockery. 6 years of being ignored. 6 years without promotion. 6 years of watching less qualified people rise above me while I carried entire departments on my back. The few believers in the company eventually resigned. But every time I prayed about leaving, God told me the same thing. Stay. So I stayed. And they mocked me for it. Prayer warrior. Holy sister. Sister Cinderella. I became the joke of Greater Heights. Even my family, especially my mother, worried about me because I was still unmarried and had not been promoted. My mother would often say, "Madison, something should be moving in your life by now." Then, like anything of value that loses its essence when overused, the company eventually collapsed. After years of corruption and recklessness, bankruptcy swallowed the company whole. Salaries became delayed. Clients disappeared. Panic spread through the building. Then we heard the news. Greater Heights had been sold. And the new owner was a billionaire named Kingston Ogwefai. King. The man was known throughout the country for rebuilding failing companies. The women nearly lost their minds. The office suddenly looked like a fashion runway. New wigs. New heels. New perfume. Everybody wanted to impress the billionaire bachelor. Meanwhile, I minded my business. Kingston was not buying Greater Heights because of me. Then King arrived. And honestly, the man looked like he walked out of a movie. Tall. Calm. Expensive. But it wasn't his looks that shocked me. It was his discipline. And he was a believer, just like me. On his first day, he addressed the staff. This company has lost its way, he said calmly. That changes today. We will rebuild with integrity, excellence, and accountability. The room became silent. Some people rolled their eyes. Others looked nervous. But for the first time in years, hope entered my chest. Within weeks, everything changed. No more inappropriate office parties. No favoritism. No nonsense. King worked harder than everyone else and expected the same from us. Then one Friday morning, he shocked the entire company again. He walked into the boardroom carrying a Bible. I believe businesses should honor God, he said. So every second Friday, we will pray and fast as a company. You could literally feel irritation spreading through the room. But me. I nearly cried. After years in spiritual darkness, somebody finally acknowledged God openly. That was the first day King noticed me too. Not because I was loud, but because I was the only person that seemed to have enjoyed the prayer session. After that, things became strange. In a good way. He started greeting me personally. Asking for my opinion during meetings. Stopping by my desk to joke with me. At first, I told myself it meant nothing. Then one day, HR called me to his office. I entered nervously. King sat behind his desk with several files open. One of them had my name on it. I've been reviewing employee records, he said. Then he looked directly at me. Can you explain why someone with your performance history has not been promoted in 6 years? My throat tightened. I didn't know what to say. Finally, I whispered, because I refused to compromise. For a moment, he just stared at me. Then he nodded slowly. Integrity has a cost, he said quietly. But it will not cost you here. He handed me an envelope. Inside was my promotion letter. Senior executive. Plus 6 years of unpaid salary adjustments and bonuses. My hand started shaking. I almost cried in his office. By lunchtime, everybody knew. And just like that, the office hatred became worse. The women who once ignored me suddenly watched me like hawks. Especially after the flowers started arriving. Every week. Fresh flowers. Lunch deliveries. Little notes. Don't skip meals. You work too hard. Have a beautiful day. Signed. King. The entire office was going mad. And honestly, so was I. Because somewhere between prayer meetings, late work discussions, and his dangerous dimpled smile, I fell in love. I tried avoiding him after that. But the man kept finding me. One evening, he stopped me near the elevator. Is it just me or are you avoiding me? He said. I laughed nervously. You're my boss. Not when I'm asking as just Kingston. My heartbeat stopped. Then he smiled. That smile. Lord help me. I'd like to take you to dinner, he said softly. I blinked. What? I want to know you outside this office. I should have refused. Instead, I said the most church girl thing possible. I need to pray about it. And the annoying man smiled like that was the exact answer he wanted. Dinner changed everything. Because King did not play games. No manipulation. No hidden intentions. Halfway through the meal, he looked me directly in the eyes and said, I want to court you properly. I nearly choked on my drink. Then he added, and I'd like to meet your pastor. What kind of man says that in this generation? I knew then that this wasn't ordinary. God had told me to stay. And now Kingston was courting me. I took the matter to God in prayer, and he led me to Isaiah 61 verse 4. Isaiah 61 verse 4, they shall rebuild the old ruins, they shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the ruined cities. Kingston was known for rebuilding bankrupt companies from scratch. Was God telling me to build with Kingston? But soon God confirmed His word. The office exploded when people found out our relationship. Because he didn't hide. The HR was properly informed. Whispers. Jealousy. Rumors. Sabotage. Someone even tried framing me for financial misconduct. But King defended me publicly before the board using security footage and original records. That was when I realized something. This man wasn't ashamed of me. Not my faith. Not my simplicity. Not my years of being overlooked. Then came the day nobody expected. Quarterly staff meeting. Everybody seated quietly. King stood in front holding a small velvet box. My stomach dropped. Madison, he said calmly, the Lord brought me to greater heights to meet you, and to share His purpose of Isaiah 61 verse 4 with you. I gasped. Isaiah 61 verse 4. The Lord had confirmed His word. The room became still. Then He walked toward me and went down on one knee. Gasps filled the boardroom. Will you marry me? I started crying immediately. The same people who mocked me as Cinderella watched their billionaire CEO propose to me publicly. Yes. I shouted before my brain could catch up. The room erupted. Some clapped. Some stormed out. Some looked like they wanted to faint. But King only smiled and slipped the ring onto my finger. Then he grabbed the microphone again. One more thing, he announced. Effective immediately, my fiancé will oversee operations at greater heights. Complete chaos. Absolute chaos. And just like that, Cinderella became queen. And my 6 years of divine obedience turned to divine marital settlement. A few months later, we got married in a beautiful church wedding filled with worship and thanksgiving. That night during our reception, I whispered to him, I still feel like Cinderella sometimes. King pulled me close and smiled. No, you shouldn't, he said softly. And by the way, I'm transferring ownership of greater heights to you. I stared at him in shock. Then I burst into tears, hugging him tightly. You were never Cinderella, he whispered against my forehead. God preserved you for me, my queen. Then he kissed my forehead gently. You were always royalty. They were just too blind to see it.